What's going on, guys? We're looking at a good day to start the week. Bitcoin just flipped above its resistance line and it looks like it may hopefully hold up as a support now. We're going to talk about that. We also have some upcoming things for CleanSpark. We're pretty likely to get their mining update this week, and we also have the Fed meeting coming up as well. So let's get started on this, guys. If you like these videos, you know what to do. Also, consider joining my YouTube membership for only $2 a month. And if you're interested in any crypto exchanges or stock exchanges, check out the links below for some free stocks and cryptos. And let me know, guys, if you want me to cover SoFi stock. We just had earnings. They just posted a profitable quarter, a huge update, so we did create a pretty big gap here, but I'm going to keep an eye on SoFi at the very least, and I may be making an entry here once things cool down a little bit, maybe on a fill of this gap. But let me know if you guys want me to cover SoFi in the near future. I don't currently have a position, but I have swing traded this in the past. And Bitcoin heading towards 43,000. We just broke out of our previous resistance. We have a long history with this trend line here. It was a resistance from October to nearly the end of last year, and it flipped as a support until late January, where recently we fell off. We created a downtrend here and we just had a reversal out of it last week, and now we had a flip of our previous resistance, hopefully as a support. One thing I'd like to see here is a bounce on this as support before we continue pushing up, just to kind of give us some confirmation here. But Bitcoin definitely has a bit of room to run. Because of this recent pullback, we did reset our RSI a bit, and I'd argue if we can break 45,000 here, we do have the juice to bring this to 48,000 before likely finding resistance once more. And while on the daily candles, we definitely have some room to run, I would like to see some consolidation above this resistance level, show that it actually flipped as a support, and get some consolidation so the smaller time frames can reset more towards neutral. But the 4 hours getting towards overbought, not quite there, and we bounced to overbought here on the hourly before cooling off a bit. We might end the day with the miners cooling off after this run, which honestly I'm fine with that. But yeah, these miners are seeing a nice recovery day today, although it looks like they're going to take some of the gains to end the day here, but I do still expect we'll end the day green at the very least. Now looking at CleanSpark, while we do have a reversal on some shorter time frames, looking at the daily, I want to see a break over 950. But if we continue under this resistance up into February, if by the beginning of February we can be right around this level, we could likely see a breakout here, break this descending resistance. But right now, I'm really eyeing a break of 950. I think that'll bring us to 10. On the shorter term time frames, it does look like a false breakout here. And I really do think 950 will be a pretty important level to break for CleanSpark. And I do expect a break of 950 would bring us back into the 10s. But CleanSpark definitely has some upcoming catalysts here. We have the mining update that'll likely come out probably by the end of this week, if not early next week. And I touched on that a little more in my previous video. I'll leave you guys a link down below or at the end screen at the very least. But what I'm really excited for is the next monthly update. That's when we'll likely hear the energy providers setting up that 16 exahash growth. But in this update, they'll hopefully tell us the progress there. Are the energy providers at least getting things set up? Are things still on track? So this is an important mining update, but I do expect in March when we get our February update, that'll be the really big update here. But of course, you definitely want to listen to the January update. They'll probably also touch on that 50 megawatt expansion. We're still really early on that news. But all the Sandersville buildings are constructed and they are ready to rack and get energized. We will see a big exahash growth within a couple weeks in my opinion. And we also have earnings coming out February 8th. They are expecting a record quarter for revenue, and I've said previously I do expect them to beat this revenue estimate. This estimate was made back towards the end of last year before Bitcoin really had its run, back when Bitcoin was anywhere from 25 to 30,000 or so. So because of Bitcoin's end of year run, I do expect this quarter we're going to beat revenue. Maybe we'll see a $70 million quarter for the first time in CleanSpark's history. But it is definitely going to be a very exciting day for CleanSpark. And what I'll really be looking at is their thoughts around the halving. But the good thing here is we still have the January, February, March quarter before the halving. And I do expect in that quarter will be very close to a $100 million quarter before the halving hits, and then things get drastically different. But we'll cross that road when we get to it. And we also have the Fed meeting coming up. This is going to be the end of January here, from the 30th to the 31st. And while we're unlikely to see Fed rate cuts here in this upcoming Fed meeting, the market is expecting a chance of Fed cuts in the meeting that comes after this upcoming meeting. But this meeting will be important because the Fed could likely clarify when interest rates will come down, and they did say that they'll lower rates, but they just didn't say when. The market is expecting rate cuts this year, and we have Michael Gappin, a US economist of Bank of America, saying that we continue to expect the first rate cut in March, though we expect no strong signal in January. The Fed will likely need to buy time to see more data. And don't expect any definitive answers. It's going to be kind of hints in the meeting. But just like always, Powell will say he needs to look at upcoming data to make a decision. But the market is essentially expecting a coin flip for the March meeting, with a 46% chance of a rate cut in March. And this might be a little bit overboard, but the market does expect 6 rate decreases this year, bringing the Fed funds rate to 3.75% to 4%, which is actually double the amount forecasted by the Fed last month. I think that might be a little overly optimistic here, and I do expect at least a couple of rate cuts, but 6 cuts, I don't know. That seems a little too optimistic in my opinion. But let me know what you guys are looking at today in the market. It's definitely nice to see a little recovery day again for the Bitcoin miners. And it does look like that selling pressure is drying up. GBTC seems to be selling a little bit less now here, while the BlackRocks and Fidelities continue to load up. But this is definitely going to be a big week for the market for CleanSpark with that mining update, and next week with earnings. And the market is going to be on the edge of its seat with the upcoming Fed meeting. So do expect a volatile week. I do think now is still a great time to continue to add to the Bitcoin miners. And despite this run today and a bit of a run last week, we're still down quite a bit from our previous peak. And in my opinion, looking back, this will turn out to have been a dip buy opportunity as we continue our bull run. But let me know your thoughts and comments down below. Thanks for all the support, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.